Welcome to Flow with the Grow. I'm your host, Sophia, a health and fitness professional, positivity distributor, and a real-life human being with real-life challenges. Every Tuesday, you will hear my honest conversations on the day-to-day highs and lows that life teaches us, as well as bring you actionable tips that you can implement to improve your health and wellness journey. This podcast will empower you to flow with the inevitable setbacks of life. You will learn what it means to flow with the grow, see through a lens of optimism, and navigate your way to living your best life. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Now let's jump into your daily dose of positivity and growth. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode with me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for having me in your ears today and listening on, I guess, whatever you're listening to. Wow, I have a few things to share with you today. So the first thing is a quote that just kind of food for thought. Two things that are food for thought, I guess. But the first one is a quote that I came across and I was like, wow, this is true. It kind of hit home for me. I know on a previous episode, I talked about the fact that I personally have gotten past the point of me trying to make everyone love me or like what I share and I don't want to try to help everyone because then I help no one. And this quote said this or something like this: you can't be yourself if you're trying to make everyone like you. If you're trying to make everybody love you, love who you are, you just can't be yourself. You won't be your most authentic self. So just think about that. I know we just want to try and have everyone like us. And we don't want, at least for me, I don't want people to not like me. I don't want people to hate me. I don't want people to dislike how I do things or what I share or judge me for something. Like, that sucks. I want everyone to like me. But I also know and accept that I just can't. And I can't be my authentic self. I can't be myself when I try and make everyone like me and like who I am. It's just impossible. And then it closes off the doors for my tribe of people, you, the people who do love and listen to what I share, the people who can connect with me for who I really am and the things that I share. And it is just doing myself and others a disservice when I try and make everybody like me. So I hope that hit home for you, at least a little bit like it did for me. The second thing I wanted to share, kind of some food for thought, is I want you to know that it's brave to say that you are struggling and to ask for help, whether it is to seek therapy or talk to someone, talk to a professional, talk to a friend. It is brave of you to do that. And I don't know if I haven't really dug too much into this, but just through social media and things, Meghan Markle had been accused of lying about being suicidal. And that is a really great example as to why people are scared to speak up when they are suffering and when they do feel like they're struggling. Because people are going to judge us or not believe us. And it really made me think, like, we need to stop assuming things and stop judging, because then we only believe someone when it becomes too late. This has kind of been on my mind lately, the fact that I, as a health and fitness professional, a growing health and fitness professional, I'm really trying to intertwine physical fitness and nutrition with also bringing in mental health. The mental health aspect is something that, like, with me growing up, we weren't taught how to talk to ourselves, or that mental health matters, or that it's kind of the thing that is first before we can truly make change, truly make lifestyle changes in our health and fitness physically, like with our bodies. The mental piece comes first. You have to be in the right mindset. You have to change. You have to have a change in mindset. You have to be open to different perspectives. Like, that mindset piece comes first, above all, in my opinion. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is that it's not really a common thing for someone to just come out and say the struggles that they have, or to admit that they struggle mentally, or that they maybe need help, or maybe they feel like their problems aren't as bad as this person, so they're not going to get help. But you're brave. You are being brave by putting yourself out there, by asking for help, by seeking help, and by sharing your struggles with someone else, and for trying to work on this aspect of your health and wellness. So with what I do at Anytime Fitness, I try and dig deep into finding out why someone has joined the gym. Not just, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to have energy, but like why? Why do you want to lose weight? What's going to change in your day-to-day life? What has held you back? There's always an underlying reasoning. And I do my best to ask really good questions and to have them feel open and safe and comfortable with me enough to share really why they're there. So I had the thought the other day that the day that we can all be comfortable and normalize sharing the mental health battles that we face day to day without the judgment and without the assumptions of others, that day will be a day that I feel a higher level of fulfillment, especially in what I do day to day. I'm really striving to be a human that another human feels safe and validated when sharing with me all of the things up in their mind and the things that in their mind they are struggling with in their mental health. Because, like I said, that plays a huge role in their pursuit to becoming healthier and happier. And by the way, there is no one-way street to becoming healthier, because that road looks different for every single person. And maybe not everyone struggles in the same way, or maybe to the same degree or magnitude, and everyone's mental health battles look different, but that does not make anyone's mental health not matter. It doesn't make anyone's mental health less than, or what you're struggling with less than. We all have mental health, and everyone's mental health matters. So I just wanted to remind you of this and encourage this message. I know for me, one of my goals is to be the person that someone will trust and will know that I will listen, I will believe in them, I won't judge. And I just really hope that as a society, this can be something that more and more people will do, especially in the health and fitness field. So don't forget that your mental health matters, and it is a big, vital piece in your health and wellness. And listen, it is not going to be easy. It's going to be a daily practice. It's going to be an awareness and intentionally working on this part of your health. And this actually leads really good into the main topic of today's episode, which is ways to improve your self-talk. Meaning when maybe a negative thought comes, whether it's about your body, the way you talk to yourself, maybe it's something within just life or work life, relationships, really anything where it is that negative voice in your head that's bringing you down. Ways to help you improve that. And maybe practices that can help you improve this. But before I get into that, just a little life update with me. I don't think I shared this story ever on a previous episode. I'm pretty sure I haven't anyway. Maybe I have. I can't remember. Anyways, a couple days ago, I was flossing and so I have veneers. They're basically fake teeth, and it's not the porcelain, which the porcelain I think is a lot more permanent than the ones that I had. I usually need to get mine redone every 3 to 4-ish years. When I was younger, middle school maybe beginning of high school, I'm not exactly sure, but I was in a soccer game and I remember this vividly, but I fell to the ground. Something happened I don't remember exactly the scenario, but I got kicked in the face, in the mouth, and a couple chipped teeth happened. I went to the dentist and he said that my teeth are pretty straight, and so having braces would only make like a 2-week difference. Now the solution with my chipped teeth could be veneers. And by the way, this was a dentist who was not my normal dentist. This was someone who came in after my normal dentist. And I guess the one that I had before left or moved. I'm not really sure. But so this dentist was saying that I could get veneers. He then told me and my mom that these veneers would be as strong as teeth. I can bite into things as normal, like everything will be good. So what does my young self do? Well, bite into things, and I bit into something that was actually really soft, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think it was something that was hard, and they popped off. So went back to the dentist, and he says, well, yeah, you can't bite into things. They're not as strong as teeth. And the rage I felt, I was so young and I wasn't going to say anything. Like, it was this big guy, dentist, bigger guy, like intimidation hit. And I was already a very shy person. So I wasn't going to say anything. But in my mind, I'm like, what? You told me they were as strong as teeth, that they were stronger than teeth, actually. So I was just confused. And he put them back on. And my mom was furious. But they ended up coming off again within the same year, I think. Like, it was a short-term thing. And within the next year to 2 years, I think that multiple times I had to be getting them put back on or getting new ones on. So this has been hell for me growing up. And to this day, like, this is something that I don't speak a lot about. I don't say it a lot. But if you follow me on social media, you'll notice that I never really, especially in my stories, I don't ever have a full-on smile. Like, I do, but it'll be like half my face, or I'll do a closed smile, or like I just don't put the camera facing directly on my smile because I am so insecure about it, because it's kind of changed my teeth, and you want to be able to tell. Like, I know people have told me that they can't tell, but I can tell. And if you look closely, you can see the unevenness, the discoloration, the outline of the veneers, and actually he pushed my gums up a lot. And so I've just always had this big insecurity about my smile. It's affected me every single day, not just with my smile aspect, but I can't bite into things. If you see me eating, I will not be ever eating with my two front teeth. So yeah, I guess I should probably specify that it's my two front teeth that got kicked and had the chip, two front teeth on the top, and then also one on the bottom. And the one on the bottom is very small. I actually don't have that filling anymore. It's just a chip there now. But I can't bite into things. I have to either bite on the side of my mouth, like on my side of my teeth, or I have to pick it apart and eat it. So that's frustrating, but whatever. I kind of got over the fact, like, it is what it is. But I also can't, it's been hard for me to let this go and to forgive him for this, because of the frustration it has brought. We actually later found out that a lot of people sued him, and I think that he lost his practice and his license to be a dentist, I'm pretty sure. We never sued him. And there was for years, I had so much resentment and was kind of mad that we didn't sue him. And I know my mom to this day is absolutely furious about it, and she feels really bad about it, and she's mad, but I don't blame her. But I also know that I don't want to give him that power. He doesn't deserve that power over me, for me to feel that resentment. I try and just think about that, and I know right now there's just nothing. It happened. It's just how it is now. So fast forward a little bit, I ended up going to a different dentist. He put different veneers on, and they stayed for like a solid 2, 3, 4 years until they came off again, which I knew that would happen. So then I went to someone else, got those on. Those stayed on for another 3 to 4 years. And then just last week, the part of the veneer popped off. And I was already kind of having a burnt out type week. So when it popped off, my heart sank. I was filled with fury and sadness, and I just cried. I have not cried that hard in a long time. Like, I was devastated. And I also have struggled because it was painful. Like when he basically was under the veneers is like my teeth, my two teeth that I have, but they're shaved down like super small. And I just remember sitting in that chair, him doing it, and I wasn't going to say anything. I just always kind of keep my mouth shut, but it was hella painful. So painful. Like my teeth were so sensitive. And ever since that day, it's like I have like PTSD. It's like trauma. And I hate going to the dentist. And I actually posted this, kind of talked about it on my Instagram stories. And a lot of you have similar stories or know of someone. So it kind of felt good that, not good, but that I wasn't the only one. It sucks that we go through that. But I just didn't realize that a lot of people fear the dentist or have had teeth struggles or insecure about their smile for whatever reason. So like the yearly cleanings that we're supposed to have don't ever, like have not ever really happened. When I would go in maybe every 3 to 4 years when my veneer would pop off and I would go get it put back on and they would kind of check out my teeth and all was good. They're like, for not having cleanings, like your teeth are pretty good, are really good. So I was like, all right, cool. And I thought the same thing would happen. No, negative. So back to when my tooth came off a couple days ago, I was devastated. Now, not only was I just not wanting to go to the dentist, and all of the frustration of the past, however, 10, 15, whatever years, 20 years, it's been like, that all came rushing back to me. But when I look at myself and I were to open my mouth or smile or like look at the place where the veneer popped off, just instant bawling, tears because of how it looked. And I think that's because the first time it popped off and maybe even other times, I got made fun of. I was kind of called some names. And I think I don't know if I was with friends or family or what, but I know that they didn't mean to hurt me. They didn't mean for it to make me feel bad. It was funny to them, but to me, it really got to me. I was a sensitive little girl. I'm still a sensitive person, but I'm definitely stronger in many areas. But it really got to me. It really hurt me. So I feel like subconsciously and consciously, it has stuck with me. And so I fear that same aspect of getting made fun of. It's just not a good feeling. And speaking of feelings, that dentist made me feel so stupid, so unintelligent, because it was like he made it my fault that the tooth came off when he's the one that told me they would be stronger. And ever since that day, I can remember how he made me feel. So of course, I was not about to show my face anywhere in public without getting my tooth fixed. So the next day, I called up the dentist that I have here and went in, and luckily I was able to get in right away, got a temporary, like very temporary fix on it. And I just decided that I'm just going to get this done. I'm just going to invest in whatever this is going to cost and do it. I'm pretty sure it's porcelain that's going to be more permanent, and just do it. Now, here are some things that because all of this was super emotional, okay? At this point, like, I'm just drained emotionally. Like, my eyes were so puffy the next day because of crying, and I was trying to hold it in at the dentist. And at the dentist, he actually found that I'm forming gum disease on my lower bottom of my gums. Yeah. I also have my molars that are kind of going away now or something, and there's possible cavities there. So there's that. So on top of me knowing that I'm going to have to invest and pay a good chunk of money to get this fixed, like, then that is happening. And anyways, so I went home. I let myself have a pity party the last day and a half. And I decided I just am like, what is the things that I can be grateful for here in this situation that has happened? Here's what I came up with. Number one, I am super grateful that this didn't happen 2 months from now when I'm in Florida, because not having access to a dentist, or like, I'm grateful that I am somewhere where I do have access to a dentist. And how even more frustrating would that have been if it did happen when I was in Florida? Number two, I am so grateful that I have easy access to a dentist just here in town. Call them up, 5-minute drive, I'm there. Number three, I need to find out if I have dental insurance. I didn't think I did, but I actually think that I do. So I need to check on that. But so I was paying out of pocket that day. And when I handed over my card, I was not thinking, holy shit, this is expensive. This sucks. I can't pay for this. I was thinking, wow, I can hand over my card and no problem get this paid for right now. I have the financial means to be able to pay for this right now. And for the next week's appointment, which is coming up, I have the financial means to pay for this. Wow. I am so grateful and thankful for that. And before I was thinking about all the things I was grateful for, I was kind of like, am I just being selfish? Like, is this something that I can be mad about? Is this something that I can complain about? Because I know that there are other people and other places in this world where they don't have any sort of access to a dentist. They have it way worse. They have no teeth, or they can't get their teeth fixed. They don't have the financial means to get their teeth fixed. There are other problems out there in this world than my friggin' teeth getting chipped or the veneer coming off. But then I took a step back and I'm like, no, your feelings about this are valid too. Like, this is a big deal to me. It's an insecurity, and my feelings about this, my experiences about this are valid. And same to you if you have gone through something like this as well. The next thing I'm grateful for, number 4, number 5, I can't remember, but I am so grateful that they came off when they did, because it forced me, there was no way I wasn't going to the dentist now, I had to. And because of that, I found issues in my mouth and my teeth that need to get looked at and fixed ASAP, aka the gum disease and the possible cavities that I have. And if these didn't pop off, I would not have been going to the dentist anytime soon. So I'm so grateful that it did pop off. So that's my traumatizing tooth story. And I actually have nightmares. These are not dreams. These are nightmares. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I know it's because of my teeth, my veneers. But there's 2 types of dreams that I have. Oh, I absolutely hate when I get these dreams, because the first one, so I don't know, when you're sitting in a chair at the dentist and you have your mouth open, they're doing their thing in there. I feel like my jaw gets stuck. I can't close my mouth. And I hate that. Does that happen to you? Because it is the worst. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I have this dream, is because of that. Now, the second thing is I will, in my dream, it's like I can't open my jaw. They're forced together, but it's like my teeth are maybe not grinding, but I try and force my fingers or my hand in between my top and bottom teeth, because otherwise this is my dream, my veneers will come off, or I'll feel like it, or I do it to try and prevent it from coming off. And it's kind of painful in my dream. It's weird. So there's that. That's, I think, come from this. And I remember getting my wisdom teeth out, and I was crying on the way, and I was trying to hold it in when I was there. But I remember they gave me the whatever they make to put you under, anesthesia maybe. And I remember starting to cry. I was bawling because I was that fearful I didn't know, what if I could feel them taking my wisdom teeth out and I wasn't all the way under and couldn't say anything? Or what if just it's so painful? I have this incredible fear, it might be a phobia, of having to get surgeries or breaking a leg or doing something. So oh my gosh, knock on wood. But I just have this incredible fear of that. And I remember bawling, crying, and then bam, I was out. And then I woke up and they had gotten my wisdom teeth out. And that was it. But my point is that I was so scared that I was bawling, crying when I was in that chair. So yes, while we all know this is a minor thing in the grand scheme of life, this is a minor problem, it's still a struggle and a big deal to me. So if you are have gone through something like this and can relate, I get it. And whatever you're feeling about it is totally fine, totally okay. So now I want to talk to you more about ways to improve self-talk and also different perspectives around when negative thoughts come. I actually asked this on my social media on Instagram and Facebook, and I got really awesome feedback from social media. So thank you if you gave me your input. But I had asked if people do anything specific when a negative thought comes, whether it's about their bodies or life or whatever. What do you do? Is there anything specific? Do you have a practice? Do you do anything to kind of maybe not force those feelings away, but just to reframe your thinking? So I'm going to share what's been working really well for me. And then I'm going to share some other examples and perspectives from other people. Number one, for me, I have been loving writing things on sticky notes, and I put them on my mirror. So whether I hear something like on a podcast or some sort of audio, or I read something and it really catches my eye, like it's not just the simple stay positive or you are enough or you are amazing. Like, yes, those are good. If those are something that you need and work for you, that is great. For me, I like to make it a little bit more specific, and I like to make it a bit more unique and really something that catches my ear, catches my eye, and I'm like, wow, I needed to hear that. That makes a huge difference. And I will write it on a sticky note, and I've been putting it on my mirror, my bathroom mirror, because I go in there, morning, nighttime, and I see it all. I see it a lot. And so I look in my mirror and I'm reading those every single time because they're just right there, like right smack dab on the mirror, right in front of my face. And so it's been helping me to, because I see it every day, it's like it's kind of becoming more ingrained in my brain. There are things that I can also think about when I am having the opposite thought or something, that voice in my head that's trying to bring me down. For me, her name is Ginny. If you've listened to a previous episode, you know that I have this voice in my head. Her name is Ginny. Anytime she comes out, she's usually trying to degrade my body or comparing myself to someone else. And I can think about these things that I've written down. The second thing that I do is when Ginny comes out is, and I have worked with this with my therapist, but I have another voice, and it's a fairy. Her name is Mika. And it's funny because Ginny just came to me just all of a sudden. Like my therapist asked me what her name was, and Ginny, I don't know. And then just recently I was like, you know what? I want to name my fairy. And Mika comes to name. Like, what? I've never heard the name. I've never seen or heard the name before. It was like the letters just showed up in my mind. Super weird. So Mika poofs Ginny away. And this is kind of tough, but usually when Ginny comes, I just know in my mind's eye that Mika is right there, and poof, she's gone. I will also, when Ginny comes up or these thoughts come to mind, it's like I see a stop sign. That's my awareness that I'm thinking these thoughts. And I catch myself and I will reframe that and think something that is truly true about myself, or a more positive way of thinking or thought. Or I'll say something that I'm grateful for. And, this doesn't work all the time, but it's a practice. And it's something that has been helping me because when Ginny comes, I know instantly, like it catches me in my tracks, and I can reframe that thinking instead of letting Ginny go and go and go and go. And then I kind of go into the spiral of negative thinking, and then I feel negative and I feel down. Those are a few things that personally have helped me. I'm going to tell you what I have written on my sticky notes. So I have, overwhelm is a choice. Breathe. To me, that resonates with me because I feel overwhelmed sometimes. Maybe it's a burnout. I don't know. But overwhelm is a choice. And I just need to remember to breathe and to work on that. You are worthy of health. Now, health for me is not just the food and fitness aspect. It's the mental health, and it's a lot of other things. And it's just a reminder that I'm worthy of true health. The first and the last person to be there for you is you. Take time for you. A friend said that to me, and I wrote it up on a sticky note right away and smacked it on my mirror so I see it every day. check in with yourself before you check in with the world. I'm not sure where that one came from. I don't really remember, but it's just a reminder to check in with myself before I check in with social media or work life or worry about anything else. And just first, breathe, check in with myself. These last two are recent ones that I heard on a podcast called Live Awake. I highly recommend. I like to listen to them when I take my nightly bath, and it's kind of more of a meditation and as a way for me to come back to the present. Love different perspectives in that as well. Build a deeper relationship with your most quiet self. To me, I was like, wow, like I've personally gotten away from my meditation practice. And it's just a reminder for me that I need to build that relationship and build a deeper relationship with my most quiet self. So just taking time to just be for the quiet and as the quiet and connect with that self. The light always returns back to you. So when you have those days where you feel like nothing is going right, it's just one of those days. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing seems to be going right. You're on the bottom of the world versus being on the top of the world and feeling like you're ruling the day or ruling your day. Just remember that the darkness you feel will go away or will be overtaken by the light. The light will always come back. That darkness is maybe a time of growth and learning and a challenge that you're being faced with, but the light will come back. And I actually have one other one. I used a dry erase marker because I had a friend say that, why don't you just use a dry erase marker? So I did that for this one. I'm going to Florida in May for a work trip and then also a family trip. And so I have actual goals now of personally, I want to go up 2 pounds of muscle and down 2% body fat. And I wrote Florida in all caps and then an arrow that says, but you're still sexy AF. So like, I just want to keep myself in check here. Like, yes, I'm working towards maybe a leaner body, less body fat, more muscle, but Sophie, don't get yourself wrong. You are still sexy as fuck, okay? You're still sexy AF. This, by the way, will be the first time ever if I succeed in, well, I've been doing it already, but I know I talked about this in my previous episode, but I always have felt like I needed to, or anytime I do lose body fat and gain muscle, I'm always on some sort of cleanse or restriction program or taking some sort of supplements. And I'm not this time. I'm doing it just with more of like intuitive eating, but trying to eat, being focused on what I eat and also learning more about ingredients and chemicals in food and being more mindful of that while also not restricting. Like if I want to have a cookie, yes, there's chemicals in there, but I'm going to have that cookie. So I'm not trying to restrict. This is going to be the first time that I don't restrict. And I'll listen to my body, have what I want to have. And I'm going to be super stoked if and when I gain 2 pounds of muscle and lose 2% body fat. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated. Okay, so we got affirmations, things that you can write on your mirror or on sticky notes and put them where you will see them every day. We got talking to yourself and having that voice that's trying to bring you down and have a way to have awareness and reframe that thought or that way of thinking, whether you name those thoughts and like my fairy Mika poofs Ginny away, or maybe it's a trigger for you to think 3 things you're grateful for, whatever that is, just reframing your thinking. When I asked on my social media, I definitely had a lot of people who just have different affirmations that they use. This first one I want to share right away because it was something that I read and I've never heard of anyone doing this before. I have never done it myself. It opened my eyes for me to try something that I have never thought of doing before. She said, I used to carry a pad of sticky notes and a pen with me everywhere. Anytime I had a negative thought, I would write it down on a sticky note and throw it away. It was really effective. Wow. Like, I just love that idea. How unique. You're writing down that negative thought. So you're becoming uber aware of it. You bring it to life by writing it down. And then you're intentionally just crumpling it up and throwing it away. So it's kind of a mindset behind it. Like, it's just not true. And you throw it away. I feel like that one thing can help someone, can help you, can definitely help me. Pretty powerful. I think it can be a very powerful and, like she said, effective thing to do. I have a client friend. It's hard for me to say client, but she trains at the gym. I train her. So she says, get out of your own head. It's a dangerous place to be. So she knows that when she's alone in her head, it's dangerous. And she uses different affirmations to help her get out of her own head. And also, I know that I can relate to this, but we talked about how we always have lists of things to do. It's never ending, and there's always a lot. And she will and this is what I've been doing too, pick 3 things that need to get done, and that's it. And just cross it off one by one. Feel good. It's productive. And that also has been helping with her self-talk. So like I said, a lot of affirmations, people saying that they reword things and retrain their brain, reframe their way of thinking. I love what Robert said. Hello, Robert. He said, block those thoughts out and convince myself to accept who I am internally and externally. After 52 years, I've realized there are some things I can't change and I have to work with what my genetics will. And I asked him how he blocks them, or like how he convinces himself that. And he just said he tries not to think about it and tries to focus more on what he does like about himself. And especially now that he got into something that he loves, so powerlifting, he can focus on that and stay focused on that and on the positives that he has gained from there. Okay, and I must share this because this made me laugh. He said, for example, the other day I had a fellow employee ask me if I still work out at the gym. I told him yes, and then he asked, why don't I look like I have? And he said, now I could have gotten pissed and military pressed him to the ceiling because I can, but instead thought and explained how much more weight I can lift now than I did a year ago, and that just because I don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't mean I haven't improved. That's how my process works, whether I'm being judged or judging myself. And I freaking love that because it's putting more of a focus on the things that you are proud of, the things that you have been working on. So thank you for sharing that. Another reframed thought was with asking, am I judging myself more than I would judge any other person in the same situation? Because I should be giving myself the same grace and room to grow that I give everyone else. I'll say that again because that was really good. She reframes the thought and asks, am I judging myself more than I would judge any other person in the same situation? So giving yourself grace and room to grow, giving yourself grace for that room to grow. And I love how a couple people too said that even if it's something happens in their life and it's not how they thought it would go or how it happened or how you planned it to happen, it's okay because they have a higher power. So whatever your higher power is, whether you say God or the universe or source, just knowing that you're on the right path and you're trusting that path. Whether it's something that is happening in your life that you planned, it's a challenge, or it's just not how you thought it would go. And I had one person say that she just walks the path and tries to make the best decisions that are laid before her. And it's just all how she portrays it in her mind. She gives herself thanks and she finds gratitude with each day. And even if it's just one small thing, one small step for mankind, that was pretty cool. Another reframed. So it's a lot of reframing, but I love giving these examples because they're all a little bit different and different ways of reframing and asking different questions that I did not think about before. So another one was, so if they say, I'm stupid. So maybe it was, I'm stupid for doing blank. Instead, they say, I feel stupid, or I'm not stupid. I just forgot, or I made a mistake. And then it helps them because it helps them. It's a feeling, and a feeling that they need help with, or an acceptance with. They accept that and they're just human. And I think too, the more that you practice this, it's going to become more ingrained in your brain and more automatic, more normal than maybe what you're used to now. And that's pretty cool because for me, I know that I do live a happier life internally, especially, and then that shows externally. And I think finding things, making sure we have maybe a list of things that you know makes you truly happy and makes you feel at peace and calm and maybe gives you energy. So like someone said, whether it was maybe faith, family, having fun, that helps too to kick that negativity and gives her energy. And she knows that helping others makes her smile, and that helps her. Now, a few different perspectives that I wanted to share because these were really eye-opening for me. This first one, she says, because like I said before, the question was, how do you improve the way you talk to or about yourself? So when negative thoughts come to mind, do you do anything specific to change your thinking? If so, what? So she says, self-awareness first, and I'm reading this word by word because the way she says it is brilliant. Self-awareness. First, you have to remember that all emotions are valid and stop believing they are negative. Okay, I'm going to read that again. First, you have to remember that all emotions are valid and stop believing they are negative. They are really your conscious mind protecting you from hurt and pain. Once I notice the thoughts, I ask myself, why is this coming up for me? And what is the opposite of what I am thinking? So then once she considers both questions, she asks if she can disapprove it. We can always disapprove. So why is this coming up for me? Is it true? And can I disapprove it? She says, I then go back to my answer of what is the opposite thought? And I commit to remembering it whenever the emotions that block my success path comes up. So when you have that thought, that negative thought about yourself or whatever it is you're thinking, asking, why is this coming up for me? And that might take some time, like really diving deep in with yourself and asking that. And if that's true, what is the opposite of what I'm thinking? What is the opposite thought? And then she commits to remembering it whenever the emotions that block her success path comes up. I personally really loved how she said all emotions are valid, which yes, I knew, and I remember that. But then she said, stop believing that they're negative. And I think that's a powerful reframing of what we consider as negative, quote, negative thoughts. Like, why do we say that they're negative? And I've kind of been on this journey too of thinking, okay, I don't want to force out negative feelings. It's okay to be negative sometimes because if we force out the negative or we just always try and bring in the positive, like we're neglecting those feelings too that maybe bring us down. And by saying they're negative, like it's just kind of perpetuating that thought, if that makes sense. My aunt actually commented and she said something pretty brilliant as well. She said, I think we get conditioned to think we need to control everything, including our thoughts. I try to stay mindful of recognizing when I'm trying to take over control versus allowing the divine source to be in control of even the things as big or small as our thoughts. I do better when I think from the heart, and also the more I practice conscious breathing, I notice my thoughts improve with each conscious breath. That also made me think and reflect. And especially with the conscious breaths, like I've noticed in the past when I was meditating and through my years of meditating, that truly has helped me in my thinking and in having a more positive, thought process and reframing things and having a growth mindset perspective on things. And then I love how she says that she tries to stay mindful of recognizing when she's trying to take over control versus just allowing whatever her higher power, the divine source, to be in control and accepting it and just having this knowing that whatever's happening is happening for a reason. And then another important one that someone said was she meets the critical voice with unconditional love. That part is hurting and needs more love, not less. That also for me was eye-opening, and I had never thought about that before. Like when Ginny comes up, I never not once stop and pause and just give it unconditional love. Like give that voice, Ginny, unconditional love, because that part of me, that side of me, that voice that's coming up needs more love, not less. So thank you to everyone who responded and took the time to respond. It gave me some words of advice and wisdom and perspectives that I had never thought of before. So I hope that you also can take away a few things from that as well. I have another client who we're becoming really good friends, and her soul is amazing, and we connect on kind of the same wavelength and vibe, I think. But I asked her because recently we had a conversation, and actually she is the reason why I decided to make this episode, because we were talking about just goals and struggles and all the things before we actually started training. And she brought up self-talk, things that she does to help improve her self-talk. And she's been on this journey mentally of reframing thoughts and just the whole aspect of health. And when we talked about it, it like a light bulb went off. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to share this. I need to speak on ways to help improve self-talk and to include what she said. She is someone who she's actually going to school for being able to do tattoos, but like in a therapeutic way, which is very cool. I didn't know that was a thing, but it's a thing. She told me that one of the things that she does to help improve her self-talk is to journal, and also around art. Like she does her own art. She paints, draws, but creating art helps. And she journals. She will journal positive affirmations. So she's being really intentional about becoming aware of the thoughts that she has and working to improve the way that she thinks about herself. And when negative things come up, she's just trying to day to day work through those things and do things to help create positive self-talk and do things that she really enjoys doing, like art. She also mentioned that she started to go to AA to help with mental and sobriety issues. She also started telling herself that it's just all in her head, and that's been helpful. She writes in her journal about how it's not her fault that her self-talk has been so negative, and she tells herself, I love myself every day. And that's one thing that I don't necessarily tell myself I love myself every day, but I will give myself a hug every night. I give myself a hug every single night. And it kind of cultivates this love and in my mind helps improve the way that I talk to myself, I think, like even in the future and day to day. Like it's just, I don't know. I give myself a loving hug. It's the action, but also it helps my mindset. I don't really even know how else to explain it, but I think that not only it helps in the moment, but the more I do it day to day, just transfers over into day to day life. And the consistency of that has that carryover effect long term and kind of grows my, not capacity, but it grows my self-love flower or a bubble in my mind. That just kind of came to me for explaining it. So hopefully that made sense to you. So give yourself a loving hug. Choose one or two things that you can implement in your day-to-day life to help you with improving the way that you talk to and about yourself. And when those negative thoughts come up, 1 or 2 things that is going to be attainable and not seemingly overwhelming with all the things you got to do. Like, gave you options and ideas and examples and perspectives. So take just 1 or 2. Find what works. Find what doesn't. Find what you like. Find what you don't like. We're all in this together. I'm here for you. I believe in you. I love you. If you found value in this, it resonated with you, you learned 1 or 2 things, and is something you feel maybe others need to listen to, take a screenshot, put it up on your stories on Facebook or Instagram, and tag me. I am at Sophia_Dawn41. And I want to thank you for listening. And I want to thank you for sharing. And that's that for today. You rock. Have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Flow with the Grow. I'll see you next week for your daily dose of positivity and growth.